In this lesson, we are going to seed sample data to the MongoDB. Let's start by setting up the MongoDB database. We have two options: installing MongoDB locally on the computer or using Cloud MongoDB database on this address. I'm going to select this one because it's easier. Go to mongodb.com/atlas/database, click on try free, then sign up and log into your MongoDB account. I'm going to log in with my Google account. There we are. If you don't have any cluster, click on create cluster. And here, when you have your cluster 0, click on browse collections. Then create a new database. Set the database name to, let's say, next, Amazona v2, collection name to test, and create. Next step is creating database access, a database user. Click on add new database user, select authentication mode to password, enter username. I'm using the database name as username and enter your password. Scroll down. In the built-in rule, select read and write any databases. Then scroll down and click on add user. Next step, in the network access, click on add IP address and make it open to all addresses using 0.0.0.0/0. Set a name like all and click on confirm. There we are. You should have this row active. By having this, click on database and get the connection string. Here, click on connect drivers, scroll down and find the connection string, copy and go back to the project. In the root folder of the project, create .env file. Right click on empty space, new file, .env and press enter. Type MongoDB_URI equal to and paste the value here. Replace username, angle brackets with your username. For me, it was next, Amazona-v2. Enter your password. For me, it's this, but I will change it later, so you need to use your own password. And after a slash and before question mark, enter the database name, next-Amazona-v2. Save it. And there we are. We have the MongoDB URI in .env file. So I need to add .env file to git ignore list because I'm not gonna to share this value on my GitHub repository. Go to source control, right click on .env file and click add to git ignore. Let's go for next step. We need to create dbconnect function. In the live folder, create dbconnect.ts. Live folder, right click, new file, dbconnect.ts. The first step is importing Mongoose. Mongoose is a MongoDB object modeling for Node.js. And by having this, we can have MongoDB validation, casting, and business logic easily through our Next.js application. So the first step is installing Mongoose. Open a new terminal, npm install Mongoose. It's done, and I have imported Mongoose successfully. Next step is defining dbconnect function as an async function. Here, I'm defining dbconnect function in try catch, call mongodb.connect as an async function, and pass the MongoDB URI from the environment variables using process.env.mongodb URI. And I'm using exclamation mark to ensure Next.js that this value isn't null. In the catch, throw a new error and pass connection failed message. At the end, I need to export dbconnect. Right here, export default dbconnect. Save the code. Let's go for next step. The next step is in product model. I need to create product schema using mongoose.schema. Let's go for it. Open product model in models folder in live folder. And at the very beginning, import mongoose. Then define product schema equal to new instance of mongoose.schema function. As parameter, pass an object. The first parameter is an object that contains all fields of product model. The first field is name of type string, and it's required. Second field is slug. It's of type string. It's required, but it's unique too. I'm using unique index in the MongoDB to make sure that there is no duplicate slug in the product model. Next one is category of type string, image of the product. The price is of type number, brand of type string, rating and non-reviews of type number, content stock. The default value for content stock is 0, description of type string, and is featured is a Boolean value to show this product in the home page. We will work on it in next lessons. Also, if a product is featured, I need to show the banner image. That's why I'm defining the string, the banner of type string, but it is not required. For a schema function, the second parameter is options of the schema. As option, I set timestamps to true. By having this, when a new record will be created in the database, the time of creation and the last update time of that record will be saved as new fields in the database. Save it, and in the next line from the product schema, get the product model using this code. If we already have the product model inside mongoose.model, use it. Otherwise, call model function from mongoose and pass the name of this model in the database. It is product, and the schema of it as a second parameter of the model. And it is the product schema that we already defined here. At the end, export default product model, so we can use it in other files. Here I'm going to create sample users too, because we need it in the checkout wizard. Like what we did for product model, I'm going to create a new model for users. In model folder, right click, user model.ts. Import mongoose, define user schema. We have name of user of type string, it's required. Email of user of type string, it's required, and it should be unique too. We shouldn't have duplicate emails. The password of type string, and is admin of type Boolean. It is required, and by default it's false. Also set the timestamp to have the created date and time and last updated of users. Get the user model based on the user schema and export default user model. Great, let's go for the last step. It is inserting sample data to the database. I'm going to implement this feature in the products API. Go to apps, right click, new folder for API. Inside that, create a new folder for products. Inside that, create a new folder for seed. And inside seed, create a new file for route data.ts. By having this file, we can create sample data by going to this address /API/products/seed. We use route handler from Next.js 13 by defining route.ts in API folder. Let's define the get method here using this function export const get. It's an async function that accepts request as parameter. It's of type next request. Import next request from next/server. Inside that, get users and products from data. Data is coming from lib/data. Here we do not have users. Go to the data.ts and right before products, define users as an array. Define the first user as an object. It has name, email, password, and is admin. You can set it to whatever you like. But for password, we need to encrypt the password using bcrypt package. So I need to install bcrypt.js. It's a package to encrypt data. Install it and import it. At the very beginning of data.ts, import bcrypt.js. As you see, couldn't find a declaration file, so I need to copy this and install types of bcrypt.js to get rid of this warning. npm install in the dependency, dev dependency, @types/bcrypt.js. There is no error here. So the first user is John. The email is admin@example.com. The password is 123456. It is encrypted in the database and admin is true. So this user is admin. Let's define a normal user after this one. Create a normal user, Jane. User@example.com, password the same, and admin is false. Go back to route.ts and here there is no error for user. After getting sample data, it's time to connect to the database using dbconnect function. Import dbconnect from lib/dbconnect. We already defined this function. After connecting to the database, call delete many on user model. Import user model from models folder. What it does is to delete all records in the user collection. Then call insert many on user model and pass the users from data.ts. What it does is to create 2 new users in the database. Do the same for product model. Import it from models folder and then send JSON result using nextResponse.json function. Import nextResponse from next/server. In the JSON object, we pass the message, it's seed successfully, and the users and products. Save the code. Let's check the result. Open a new tab, go to localhost colon 3000/API/products/seed and press enter. Awesome. We are getting this message, seeded successfully, the users and products. Let's check the result in the database. Install MongoDB Campus. On this link, open MongoDB Campus, go to your .env file and copy the MongoDB URI, paste it here and click on connect. Wait a while to connect to the database. And there we are. We have Next Amazona v2 and it has sample products. There we are. And sample users. Great. We successfully connected to the database and seeded sample data. In the next lesson, we make the source of data dynamic from the MongoDB instead of static data.ts.